Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I wanted to talk a little bit about um, can you improve as an older player? Is it possible to improve when you're older? So I look a bit like Elvis Costello in this video. I'm looking at the camera, you know. So a good year for the roses, such a good year for the roses. So can you improve as an older player? I think yeah, you can, but it's difficult. So somebody actually just made a good point in another video. He said, what did he say? He said something about how if your chest strength is set in your early teens, how come Matthias Blueberm is suddenly qualified for the candidates when he's 28? And that's a very good point, because I think you can improve when you're older, but there are limitations. So the point I'm trying to make, I made the other day was about I think your chest strength is set at an early age. I still stand by that. I think for the majority of people it is. Obviously, there are exceptions. But I think what I mean really is your ceiling set. So you're never going to get to Magnus level. Beyond a certain point, it's obvious that you're never going to quite be Magnus level. Just as you see certain golfers, say, for example, they break through and they do well, but you can tell they're never going to be quite as good as Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy or Scotty Scheffler. Certain footballers, you see them play and you can tell they're never going to be quite as good as Lionel Messi. You know, Ronaldo, you can just tell visually looking at your eyes, right? Same with tennis. You can tell they're not going to be quite as good as Carlos Alcaraz, Roger Federer, Djokovic, all that kind of stuff, right? Even though they're very good players, right? They're never going to quite be that level. So I think your ceiling is set. But yeah, you can certainly get stronger as a player. And I certainly think for amateur players, they can definitely get stronger. Older players, I mean, I look through amateur players and some of the stuff that you see, it's just really obvious where they're going wrong, and it's quite easy to fix it. I'll leave my email down below if anyone wants to contact me about coaching. I've helped a lot of amateur players. It's kind of obvious where they're going wrong. Um, one of the ways that amateur players go wrong is they try to do too much. They don't know how to formulate plans. Also, they're quite poor at calculation, I find. There is a debate whether coaching can really help as well, because, you mentioned this guy Blueberm. It's an interesting test case. But he was actually quite a strong player from, an early age, and he's been a 2600 player for a number of years. It's not like he's just suddenly gone from, say, 2200 to 20s, to qualifying for the candidates. He's been around for years and he's been a strong player for years. So yeah, I think my point would be that actually to get to the absolute top level now, to be one of the super elite, you got to start very young, and you probably got to work very hard, many many hours on chess from an early age to get to be a top 10 player. Now you look at the top players; they're all super strong, right? They all work very hard. They're all obsessed with chess, and they're very talented. You got to combine all those factors. So although you can improve as an older player, obviously there's probably a limitation on how much you can improve. If you start at, say, age 25, you're probably not going to be a Magnus Carlsen. You're probably not going to be a grandmaster, to be fair, unless you're super talented. Unless if you say Magnus Carlsen started chess now and he never really played before, given his talent for the game, he'd probably improve past most grandmasters, but he quite possibly wouldn't get to the level that he's at now. So I think you do need to start young. I think, all those top players, they've all got that in common, that they started young. Somebody else mentioned, very good point, when you get older, you don't have the time to put all that effort into chess. You don't have the motivation. You don't have you've got other commitments. You might work, you've got family, you've got other stuff you need to do. I find I don't have the energy now. I don't have the energy to work on chess as hard as I did when I was younger. Sometimes I'd work for like 3-4 hours a day. When I was younger, it didn't last very long. It might have lasted for 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'd stop. Um, and at the time, I thought I was doing 5 or 6 hours, but I don't think I probably wasn't. I was probably doing 2 or 3 hours, and I would stop, and then I didn't work on as hard on chess as I should have done. That's partly why I stayed at sort of mediocre GM level rather than got to super GM level. So there's all these factors that go into it. But anyway, that's what I think. I do think amateur players can improve when you're older, but obviously there's a limit. There's a ceiling that you probably can't get above. And yeah, I mean, certainly I can help anyone who wants to improve. I'm willing to help. I always like helping people. I enjoy helping people. But I'll be honest, because I have this kind of cynicism about the whole process, and I don't like to lie to people and pretend that it's all roses and just do this or do this and you're going to crack whatever. Therefore, I don't get a lot of students, which is understandable because I try to be honest. I try to be brutally honest that this is a level what you're not going to get beyond, and that offends some people. So anyway, those are my comments. Leave your comments down below. Do you agree with me that you think there's a ceiling on players, that your strength is set for majority of players, not all? Majority of players, I think, are set. A level is set from an early age, and you're never going to get above that ceiling. Now, for whatever reason, be it talent, probably talent, to be honest, because you look at someone like Lionel Messi, he's just more talented than other footballers. He was very, very good from a very early age. He was scoring 4 or 5 goals in a football match when he was very, very young. And he was just ridiculously talented. But then again, the talent probably came from playing relentlessly when he was very, very young. Probably played football when he was 3 or 4, right? Anyway, those are my thoughts. Leave your comments down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe.